Hello, I'm Victoria from Biblio Lifestyle, and you're listening to the Reader's Couch podcast, the show that will help you bridge the gap between living a full and busy life to one where you're reading, learning new things, and having fun. In today's episode, I'll be sharing 6 tips to help you find time to read during the busy holiday season. So if you're like me and the holidays can get a bit overwhelming sometimes, or you might be going through the motions and just not finding that extra time you need to read, then this episode is just for you. So stay tuned. Hi readers, welcome again to the Reader's Couch. I'm your host, Victoria Wood, and in today's episode, I'll be sharing 6 tips to help you find time to read during the busy holiday season. So I don't know about you, but the holidays are just incredibly chaotic for me. I know we all celebrate different things, or we might not celebrate at all, but there's just something about that November, December, early January period that just feels incredibly chaotic. It's incredibly busy. It's go, 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 and it's never ending. Now, if I'm being honest, I start feeling this from mid-October thereabouts, because, you know, there's a Halloween events and things. And while decorating the house isn't the hardest thing for me, it is work. So it's like you're decorating maybe for the autumn, fall season. I see folks, you know, with the pumpkins and the bales of hay and the scarecrows, and, you know, they'll decorate the home for the fall season, but then you're also decorating for Halloween. And then you're reverting back to just the plain fall decor. And if you're celebrating Christmas, I celebrate Christmas, then you're decorating for that as well. So even if you're not decorating for every single event, it can feel chaotic. So yeah, I've been feeling the crunch since October. So this episode is kind of geared for later in the holiday season. You know, folks are celebrating Christmas, Hanukkah, Diwali, Kwanzaa. You know, it's all these different events, so much going on. And I think the thing that suffers the most is all reading time. And reading time for me is all me time, because when I'm reading, it's the time when I have the opportunity to turn everything off and just slow down and just really escape into the pages. And this episode is dedicated to helping you find time to read during the busy holiday season, because there's lots of family gatherings, you're shopping for gifts, you're attending parties, both personal parties, but maybe your job has a party, or the clubs and associations you're a part of, they all have something during the holidays. And before you know it, your calendar is filled all the way up. And again, it's hard to find time for yourselves. Now, for book lovers like me and you, this can be especially challenging as we try to balance our love for reading with the demands of the holiday season. And also, I know there's some folks out there still trying to push through and achieve those reading goals before the end of the year as well. So there are just so many little pressures going on. But if you're a person who is specifically trying to race to the finish line to achieve the reading goals, I highly recommend you go back to episode 144 entitled Revisit Your Reading Goals and doing a 4th quarter check-in, because maybe that's just what you need to kind of ease the pressure off yourself if you find yourself racing towards those reading goals. But getting back to just our leisurely reading, we want to keep our reading habit during the holiday season while also balancing all the demands. I have some tips for you. It is possible, and we can sneak some reading in during this busy time of the year. So let's get into the tips. Okay, tip number 1 is quite easy, very simple, and most of us readers kind of already know this. So essentially, I'm reinforcing it, and that is to prioritize your reading. Because one way to make sure that you're still able to make time during the busy holiday season is to prioritize reading. So set aside some dedicated time each day where you can indulge in your favorite book. So whether it's early in the morning before everyone wakes up, it could be during your lunch break at work, or right before you go to bed. Find a time that works best for you and stick to it. And I like to treat my reading time like an appointment that can't be missed. And quite honestly, I do this for everything else in my life that is important to me, that is going to support both my mental and physical health. So therapy time, non-negotiable. I started an exercise class in late July, and that's a non-negotiable. I do that in the morning before I even get going with the rest of my day, because work life and family life can get incredibly demanding. So then throw in the holidays and everything is just going bonkers. So prioritize the time. Find the time that works best for you and just prioritize reading. I also read before bed because it's a great way for me to unwind and just turn things off. So consider swapping out your phone, instead of scrolling social media, doom scrolling, and just going down one rabbit hole after another, swap it with a book. So yeah, prioritize reading, find a time that works best for you, stick to it, and treat it as an important appointment that can't be missed. Okay, tip 2, create a reading-friendly environment. Now, during the holidays, I don't know, again, I know we're all different in our homes, but during the holiday season, I think the house can get really noisy and chaotic with family members and friends, and then the children's friends and guests, and just people going and coming. So if you have that kind of house, I think it's essential to create a reading-friendly environment where you can escape for some quiet time. So choose a cozy spot in your home, depending on where you are. You can grab a warm drink, light some candles, and just get lost in the pages of your book. I think this can be incredibly helpful because it can help you focus on your reading, but it can give you a break from the hustle and bustle of just everything holidays, everything going on in your house, but also in your life as well. Now, I'm not proud to say this, but it is the truth. So sorry for any family members that are listening. But I remember once upon a time, I would hide away in my closet. I'd bring a beverage and I'd go in the closet. I'd grab all the pillows off the bed and I'd just stuff them in the corner just to give my back some support. And I'd hide out there. It was quiet. It was just a break. I know they were probably looking for me, but I needed those 15, 20 minutes. And you know what? That's okay, because sometimes we need that for our sanity and so that we can function moving forward. So I'm just saying, if you can create a reading-friendly environment, find a cozy space, find a quiet place where you can escape just for a little, I think that would be helpful, and this will help you to focus on your reading. Okay, tip 3 to help you find time to read during the busy holiday season is to take advantage of travel time. So if you're traveling during the holiday season, whether it's by car, train, or plane, use this time to catch up on your reading. So bring along a book, download an ebook or an audiobook to your smartphone or your tablet so you can easily access it, and take the opportunity to read while you're traveling. Honestly, I think this can be an incredibly relaxing and enjoyable experience, and it's a great way to sneak your reading time in. Personally, I get loads of reading done when I'm traveling on the plane. Now, it depends where I'm going. If I'm doing cross-Atlantic stuff, right now I'm in the States. So if I'm going across the Atlantic, I can't read. On my return trip to the States, that's when I can read. So it also depends. The other day we flew into, airport? Boston. And I read on the way there, I read on the way back, and then the return trip, I got most of my reading in. Then we were also driving around. So we did lots of driving that trip, and we did audiobooks, and it was so cool if you can find an audiobook that everyone in the car can enjoy. When the children are in the car, it's a perfect opportunity to get those YA fantasy reads in. And it's just kind of cool reading together via audio as a family. And then when we would get to somewhere, whether it's just a rest stop or we're having lunch, we can talk about it. So that was really fun. So there's another idea for you to sneak some reading in, take advantage of your travel time. Okay, so tip number 4 is kind of a spin-off of tip 3 when I was saying try to take advantage of reading when you're traveling. And I mentioned the audiobooks in the car when you're doing long road trips. Well, here's the thing. I think, and this is tip number 4, make use of audiobooks as much as you can. So I gave the example during the traveling, but you can actually make use of audiobooks even when you're not traveling, because during the holiday season, I do more shopping than normal. I'm doing more household chores than normal because, again, you have people coming in and out of the house. You know, you're cleaning, you're cooking, you're shopping, you're running errands, you're buying gifts, you're doing all kinds of things. So consider listening to an audiobook while you're doing all these things. So I will be hoovering, I'll vacuum the house, and I will have my audiobook in while I'm doing that because it's the machine's loud anyway. So perfect opportunity to listen to your audiobook. When I'm folding laundry and doing laundry and just cleaning, doing dishes, to have your audiobooks in. I don't have any pets right now, but when I had a pet, walking the dog, you can listen to the audiobook. If you're exercising on your own, if you're on the treadmill, Stairmaster, whatever, listen to an audiobook while you're doing that. So there are different ways that you can incorporate listening to an audiobook, and that way you're getting your reading in. So another great way during the busy holiday season is to make use of audiobooks. Okay, tip 5, and I think this one is incredibly important to remember, and this is to set realistic expectations. Because I think it's important to remember that the holiday season is a busy time for everyone, and it's okay if you don't get as much reading done as you would like. So I highly encourage you to set realistic expectations for yourself, and don't put too much pressure on finishing a certain number of books. So again, if you are someone who finds yourself racing to, achieve your reading goal for the year, I highly recommend, again, listening to episode 144, revisit your reading goals and doing a fourth quarter check-in. Again, I know we're well past the fourth quarter mark, but I think by listening to this episode, it just might give you the permission you need or the direction you need on how to go about your reading goals as we approach the end of the year. I'll include a link in the show notes so you can just access the episode right then and there. But yeah, I think it's just important to set realistic expectations on not just the books that you're reading, but the number of books that you're reading and your reading goals as well. Because the holidays are just incredibly busy. And the most important thing is that you're enjoying your reading time and you're not stressing about meeting any specific goals. So again, set your expectations. Understand it's okay if you don't get as much reading done, but if you're getting the reading done, right, it's fun. You want to have the joy of reading. So, set realistic expectations. I think it's incredibly important during the holiday season. Alrighty, tip number 6. This one took me some time to really learn and enforce in my real life. I would say I was probably in my early 30s when I felt the confidence to do this. And tip number 6 is don't be afraid to say no. It took me a while to kind of get to the point in my life where I felt comfortable saying no. And this is incredibly important in life in general, but also if you're trying to find time to read during the busy holiday season. Because I think it's okay to decline invitations, to skip certain events, to not volunteer yourself to do something, or if you're like me, everything, because you need some time for yourself, right? That is completely normal. Again, just picture me in the closet. That was me taking time for myself. But once upon a time, I used to say yes to everything. Oh, yeah, I'll bring this to the potluck. Or, oh, yeah, you can host in my apartment. Or, whatever it might be. And it was just yes, 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 yes. Before you knew it, I was overwhelmed. I was burnt out. So I'm just telling you right now, you don't need to say yes to everything. You don't have to attend every holiday party. You don't have to attend every event. It's actually more important that you prioritize your mental well-being during this hectic season. You have to draw the line because you will feel burnt out, you will feel overwhelmed, and your mental health might suffer. So I think it's really important to remember, Don't be afraid to say no and prioritize you and only do what you need to do. And by doing that, you just might find that extra time to read. Alrighty, readers, that's it. 6 tips to help you find time to read during the busy holiday season. So tip 1, prioritize your reading. Tip 2, create a reading-friendly environment, or in my case, somewhere to escape, aka in the closet. 3, take advantage of travel time. 4, make use of audiobooks. 5, set realistic expectations. And 6, don't be afraid to say no. Now, readers, I know firsthand, finding time to read during the busy holiday season may seem challenging, but I think with some prioritizing, some planning, some flexibility, and sometimes just saying no, it can be done. But remember to enjoy your reading time and don't let the chaos of the holiday take away from your love of books. So I hope you have a good holiday season. I hope you find that time to read. Go in the closet if you need to, and just take a moment to breathe and remember to prioritize some you time and your mental health during this incredibly hectic season. Alrighty, readers, that's it. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you haven't already, please leave the podcast a 5-star rating and review. Leave me a comment or a review with your thoughts. I'd love to hear from you. And thanks again for listening. Thanks for being here. And I'm looking forward to chatting with you again soon. Bye for now. Thank you so much for listening to the Reader's Couch podcast. Please subscribe to the show, share it with a friend, and take a few seconds to leave a rating and review. Until next time, stay lounging, stay reading, and whenever you're in doubt, go straight to your local bookstore or library. Thanks again for listening, and happy reading.